Welcome to the Legacy Music Hour. My name is Brent Weinbach, and
my name is Rob F. Switch.
The reason I said "and" is I don't know why I said "and." I usually don't say my name is Brent Weinbach and, but I did that time. I was kind of trying to lead you in, I guess, to hardcore that time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hardcore lead-in. We are the hosts of this show, and this is the video game music podcast featuring only third and fourth generation video game music most of the time. And this is episode 241. Or 200, if you want to pronounce it that way.
241. Oh my lord. And it's also another milestone. This is another milestone.
Yeah, what do you mean milestone?
Well, it's a special episode.
Yeah, it is. It's a countdown. It's a New Year's countdown. It's a New Year's countdown.
How old are we now?
Well, I mean, I guess we're 11 or 12 or something. Wait, no, it's... Yeah, 11 or 12? Yeah, 11? I think 11? No. Yeah, 11. 11 years old, I think. Right? One.
Wow.
Yeah, I think 11, I think.
Wow. Where does the time go?
Well, but there was some time off too at certain points, so I don't know. Who knows? But hey, I'm counting it. I'll count it as 11. Let's call it 11 years.
11 years.
I mean, look, we started it in 2010. And here we are, 2021. It's kind of a long time, huh? I mean, imagine if this wasn't such a specific area of interest. This podcast would be huge at this point, I think, if it wasn't such a specific area of interest. Maybe.
What, you think so? You don't think it's huge as it is?
Well, I mean, it has its group. We have a nice little community, but people who started podcasts in 2010, usually their podcast has grown into something very big. But those are more general kind of podcasts or comedy podcasts. But
well, you should change the name to like Legacy Music Rogan Experience.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Could do some numbers.
Right.
Or we could call it the Legacy Music Politics Hour and just talk politics. And then I think that'll really, really stir the pot.
Could do that. Or it's, we could call it, what if, maybe we should have just called it LMH with a question mark. You know what I mean?
No.
Because you don't know if it's going to be an hour or not?
What's that? Well, no, we should have called it LMH with a question mark and had Mark Maron host it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, look. All of our episodes are in part brought to you by our Patreon subscribers. By subscribing on Patreon, it supports the show, helps us to keep doing it, and also you get bonus content there as well. So it's patreon.com/Legacy Music Hour, and what kind of stuff do you get? Well, just lots of stuff. You can just go in there and check it out and see what's there. But for one thing, you get a full video version of every episode. You get Gabe has some playthrough videos on there that are exclusive to the Patreon.
Well, including a new one that dropped the other day for Paprium for the Genesis.
Right, the new Sega Genesis game, Paprium. He's got that on there. He's got Power Blazer
Blade.
on there. Different stuff, and I've got I usually once a month at least I'll do I'll talk about games I've been playing and kind of review them in a way, and it's not up there yet, but there will be a review of Braid. I've played Braid before, but it's been over 10 years since I played it, and I'm kind of delving into it a lot more seriously and deeper than I had the first time I played it. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about Deltarune Chapter 2, which I played through recently. And I don't know, there's other stuff. There's lots of bonus stuff on there. So check it out. And at the very least, thank you for your support. Now, some other top of the show business to attend to before we get into today's topic and the episode, and it's going to be a hefty episode, so we'll move quickly through all this. Tin Pot Gamer on Discord. We have a Discord, by the way. What is Discord? Discord is kind of like a message board for it's whatever thing,
Discourse,
whatever it is. It's a discourse. It's a multi-pronged discourse. If you want to go to the Legacy Music Hour discourse, or be a part of the Legacy Music Hour discourse, if you want to be a part of the legacy, you go to legacymusichour.com and you can find there's a link there at the top of the page. But on the Discord, Tin Pot Gamer said that Tales of Fantasia takes 40 hours tops. Say what? Say what? There's no way in heck that's true. Absolutely not. That game is very long, and it took me around 80 hours to get through. And okay, granted, I go through games slower than the average person probably, but there's no way in heck you can get through that in 40 hours. And yeah, the random encounters are extremely frequent. I've never seen this many encounters in a game aside from the Horai High School game, The Adventures of Horai High School, which that game is pretty much unplayable because of the encounters. But the encounters in Tales of Fantasia almost made that game unplayable. And it's hard, too. I just wanted to respond to that because I thought, in what world, in what dimension is Tales of Fantasia an easy, quick game like that? Or a 40-hour game tops? I mean, 40 hours tops? I mean, no way. No way. No way that's even 40 hours minimum, I think. Anyway, I just thought I'd respond to that. There was a comment on the legacymusichour.com on that, and this is who wrote this comment. I'm not really sure, but the comment was, so who's going to be the unfortunate soul that has to break the news to Toby Fox that Brent Weinbach claims that the soundtrack to Undertale isn't true video game music? Now, I know that's kind of a joke comment, but just to clarify, that's not what I said in the previous, I don't know if it was the previous episode or what, but when I said that, but that's not what I said. So just in case it wasn't clear to some people, what I said was that during the third and fourth generation, a kind of genre of video game music developed that sounds specifically like video game music. And during the fifth generation and on, the compositional approach of the third and fourth generation declined in general over the years in favor of music that is composed more like the score to a movie. However, people still compose in the style of the video game music genre of the third and fourth generation, and Toby Fox is a great example of that. His music is definitely video game music because it sounds like the genre of video game music, and it's really good as well. So, yeah, I'm not saying that music that comes out in later generations is not video game music. I'm saying there's a specific sound that I think helped shape the genre of video game music. And that kind of happened in the third and fourth generation, and people still emulate that style to this day. Toby Fox. And he's great. Okay. Now, I think that's about it. Is there anything to mention on your guys' end before we move on here?
I'm ready to ball.
Okay, so this is our New Year's countdown, which was mentioned earlier. What that means is Rob and I have picked our top 10 favorite tracks that were played on the last 11 episodes, I guess. And we had to have become aware of those tracks in roughly the last year as well. Okay? So these are our top 10. We're counting down our top 10 favorite tracks of the year. And Gabe is going to do top 5.
Yep.
And also, and so we'll move through this quickly, kind of, because that's kind of a lot of tracks. Even though, you know, our early episodes of this podcast, we were doing, you know, we used to pick more tracks, but I guess we just started talking more, I guess, is what happened. So, more talk, less rock, I guess. But now, this beyond 16-bit era episodes, well, there's only one in this last year. Those are not eligible for consideration. And also, as determined recently, games that came out recently, or games that came out beyond, how do I put this? Beyond the official lifespan.
New games for old consoles.
Well, yeah, or games that came out beyond the official lifespan of an old console are not eligible as well. And I will say, if Astro Ninja Man, Kira Star Knight DX, and Twin Dragons, if those were eligible, they all would have been in the top 10, and Astro Ninja Man Stage 1 might have even been my number 1, or definitely top 3.
That would have been my number 1. As well.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, these are all going to be tracks from the era, and, you know, whatever. Yeah. So that's that. Okay. Now I want to say one last thing about my selections here is that, I feel pretty confident about my number 1 and 2 picks. And what?
I said,
And I'm also pretty confident about my 9 and 10 picks. Okay. But in between those, I'm not totally sure. And, I rearranged the middle 5 tracks a bunch of times. So I don't know. I think I landed on the right order, but it's pretty hard to order this stuff, you know. So just wanted to say that. I'd like to say
I'm confident about my top 5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Very minimal shifting. Actually, I did a top 10, but for the top 5, pretty solid.
Oh, well, we can...
We'll do the runner-ups. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I'll mention the runner-ups later on.
I'm going to mention the runner-ups, too, when we get down to... Before I reveal the last... the number 1, you know. My number 1. Okay, so I guess we'll start things off, and we'll try to not talk too much during this stuff, but I'll start with my number 10. And my number 10 track by the way, this is kind of counting down to the new year. Once we hit that, it's the new year, basically. Okay. Number 10 is a game whose soundtrack I was familiar with, but I wasn't familiar with this particular track. For some reason, I skipped it or I overlooked it, and I didn't become aware of it until I played the game, which I played in the last year. And that's when I heard this track, and I thought, oh, I like this track. I don't know how I missed this before, because I knew the soundtrack, and it's one of my favorite soundtracks on the Nintendo. It's a Nintendo game, and that is G.I. Joe: The Atlantis Factor, from composer Yusuke Takahama. And the track is Route 13 and 16, Forest and Ruins. Route 16 is the ruins, Route 13, the forest. So here it is. This is my number 10. This is music from G.I. Joe: The Atlantis Factor for Nintendo, music by Yusuke Takahama. And this is Route 13/16, Forest/Ruins. This is my number 10 pick for the year. And pretty classic sounding Nintendo track. But this beginning part here, there's something about it that has a kind of sound, and I don't know what it is, but whatever that sound is that it has, that's, I think, what got it into the top 10 for me.
This would have been on my top 10, but I knew about this track.
I see.
I mean, I played this game, and I remembered it when you played it.
Uh-huh. Something about that beginning part, there's something almost kind of... I want to say it sounds kind of like an 80s pop song or something like that, but I'm not right when I say that, you know? Something about that. There's something about that beginning part I like a lot, but anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have a lot of stuff to get through, so I'll just, let it be right there.
I'm going to start off my top 10 with an arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is.
Tell me, what is it? What is it?
Dead Connection. Because this almost made it to my list.
Opening from Yoshiro Hori Sosuken. This is from 1992. This is a Taito game. Dead Connection. Dead Connection, ladies and gentlemen. Open.
That's a definitely a good track.
Oh, I bet that's Brent's number 9.
I'll spoil this. I overlooked this when reviewing the past year's tracks. This should be in my top 10, but it's not. This is very cool. I think when I was reviewing it, Dead Connection has been in my top 10 in the past, a different track.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't familiar with this entire soundtrack, and I didn't know this track was new to me this year. But I think when I was kind of reviewing things and looking at the track listings, I probably saw Dead Connection and thought, "Oh, I know Dead Connection. That's old news for me." But no, this is a really cool track.
Look at those guys in the back. Who are those? The detectives?
Yeah. So I was going to mention that in Dead Connection, the player select I always thought looked really funny, and I think this guy looks like Harry Potter.
Kind of. He looks like Harry Potter if Harry Potter was a proctologist. You know what I mean?
That frown. That frown.
He kind of has
Yeah.
It looks like he's been checking stuff out, in a proctologist
all day. All day putting in overtime.
But I think that his face also looks like the kind of face that I can imagine putting on a latex glove. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Can't you imagine him snapping on a latex glove? He has that kind of that look. He has that sort of.
And under his breath, he's like, another one. Here we go.
Did you say Tookus?
A Tookus face. He has a sort of Tookus face. And I don't think he thinks, oh boy, another one. I think of it more like, I'm just doing my duty.
Mm-hmm.
Duty.
Oops. Okay. I love this part, by the way. This part's cool. That's cool. This is cool. This is very cool.
Have either of you guys seen a proctologist yet?
Most definitely.
Oh, for real?
Of course.
I haven't. I think well, I'm really young still, but I think I should. I think that's got to be on the top of my priority list coming up soon.
Seeing a proctologist is a rite of passage, It's
necessary.
You're not a real man until you've been to a proctologist.
Right. Shoot.
Anyway, cool track. I was kind of messed. I really, what do you call it? I overlooked that one. That should have been. I mean, if that wasn't in my top 10, I should have at least given it consideration for the top 10 because that's definitely worthy. That's a worthy pick.
Will you give it an honorable mention?
Well, maybe I will now. Yeah, sure, I will now.
An honorary honorable mention.
I was gonna save my honorable mentions till just before announcing number 1. But I'll give it right now an honorable mention. Dead Connection opening that would have been in the mix. Yeah.
Posthumous.
Posthumous. I don't know what the right
Posthumous.
Posthumous.
Posthumous. Yeah.
Posthumous. So okay, down to number 9 here. I wonder if this is no. He knows that Gabe would have known this track already. I think. My number 9 is from a Sega Mega Drive game, and it is from composer Gene Watanabe, and it is Monster World 4. And the track is Volcanic Cave.
Yeah, I did know the song, and I know the track.
Yeah. And here it is. This is my number 9. Volcanic Cave from Monster World 4. This is Jin Watanabe. Or Gene Watanabe. This is my number 9, and this hat definitely has a sort of 1980s sound that I like in it.
Very nice.
And it, even though it's from 1994, this game is from 1994, but there's some really nice sound textures here in this track. I love. Listen to that. You know, that's. I mean, that's. I love that. Let's see. First of all, I like that. Dun 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 dun. You know, that's nice, right? And then that bass, or whatever, you know. I think I mentioned this on the episode that I played it, but it kind of reminds me of the Motels or something like that. I don't know, Only the Lonely maybe or something like that. I don't know. It reminds me of something. It sounds so much like something. I don't know what it is exactly. But it's got that 80s sound that I like, you know, that we all like so much.
Well, Spanish.
Well, I think it's supposed to be more Middle Eastern, I think.
Middle Eastern? Okay.
Yeah, because there's a sort of Arabic kind of, I don't know, aesthetic to the game. I think that's supposed to be more of a sort of, Middle East kind of sound there for that moment.
I'm pretty sure it's what influenced Shantae games, and they're kind of like that too.
Right. Anyway, cool track. You know, cool sounds, cool synth sounds there. You know,
very
some nice. Well, it's a volcanic cave, so.
It's true.
It's nice.
Nice.
Won't spend too much time here. Just gonna try to move along through these tracks at a, decent pace.
Brisk. I've got a little magic lined up for number 9.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know what magic I know what kind of magic too. By the way, speaking of the Middle East, right? That's my guess.
I'm gonna need some help with the pronunciation here, but I believe it's the magic of Scheherazade.
Scheherazade.
Oh.
Scheherazade.
I was close.
The magic of Scheherazade. Yeah.
I used to think it was Cheshire.
Cheshire. Scheherazade. Akinori Sawa is the composer. Overworld is the name of the track. This is an NES title from 1990. 90s. The magic of Scheherazade. Beautiful. It's a nice one.
It's an excellent piece of music. Excellent piece of music.
This probably would have been my number 11.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because I knew the game. But I didn't know the music.
Oh, you knew the game, didn't know the music.
I have the game. I played it a little bit, but yeah, that was a long time ago. Wasn't for me.
It's kind of like a Zelda clone of sorts, right?
Yeah. People seem to like it, but I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, the composer of this, Akanori Sawa, also did the music to Flying Warriors.
That makes sense.
Oh, it does. Because of Culture Brain.
Well, I mean, just the quality of the music.
Uh-huh.
And composition.
Excellent piece of music. Absolutely excellent piece of music.
What would you do if you're a proctologist when he's getting ready to do the examination? He just starts doing this.
He's getting it warmed up.
And for the listeners,
What do you think?
Rob is punching he's punching his fist into his other hand.
You know, like you're about to get into some stuff.
Like a fight.
Or a fight, or it looks like, or he's, kind of, baseball players would do that with their mitts. They punch
Right.
their mitts like that too. What if your proctologist put on a baseball mitt instead of a latex glove? How would you react to that?
Well, that probably speaks more about you than him or them.
What if he
Right.
said? What if
Right.
What if when he was about to? What if he was about to go in? He had a regular latex mitt on, but before he went in, he said, "Play ball." What would you think about that?
I would say this is weird, but I would feel oddly comforted because I know that this guy knows the score.
What if it was like
Right.
batter up?
What if he was looking aside of you and he thought, "Okay, strike one." I don't know what that means, but all right.
Ooh, foul.
Right, foul. Yeah. What if you said? What if he took a whiff of your
Sure.
butt area and he said, "Ooh, foul, foul ball."
But on the other side, they could also say, ooh, home run.
Home run,
exactly,
right,
home
right,
run.
right.
And that's a good feeling.
What if before the proctologist went in, he said, "Hey, I'm hoping that we can get to at least second base here." Well, I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, there's a lot of baseball. Obviously, this is pretty old hat in a way. This is baseball analogies have been around for a long time, or baseball
Innuendos.
What do you call them? Innuendos, yeah, innuendos.
Yes.
But in the context of being checked out by a proctologist, that's kind of new ground, I guess we're breaking here. And now for my number 8 track, okay? Number 8, it's a Nintendo game, and it is from composer Akanori Sawa. Does that name sound familiar to you? Well, if so, it's because we just heard from that composer, Akanori Sawa.
Oh yeah.
This game is Flying Warriors, as I mentioned earlier. He composed the music of Flying Warriors. So that's kind of an interesting coincidence, is that, you had the Magic of Scheherazade, and then following that, my number 8 is going to be Flying Warriors. Now, I only knew Flying Warriors was on a top 10 list from the past, but only one track I was familiar with. I didn't become familiar with this soundtrack until I played the game, which was during this last year. That's when I heard all the tracks this game has to offer. That's when I discovered this track, Journey in Peru. This is the music when you go to Peru in the game. So this is my number 8 from Flying Warriors, music by Akanori Sawa. Flying Warriors for the Nintendo Entertainment System from Culture Brain. This is Journey in Peru, composer Akanori Sawa. And this is just a cool track that makes you, or makes me, enjoy playing a game that has pretty challenging and frustrating controls, but this track really gets you into it. You know, I remember playing the game, and it's a challenging game to get through, and not necessarily for the right reasons. But this track made me feel like I wanted to play through the game, you know? And it's a cool track. You know? It's just, yeah.
Yes, it's cool. I like it.
And I'll tell you, we're in the zone for me where, the next 5 tracks or so are going to be, they could have been all over. I mean, I don't know. I had this at I think I had this at number 4 or 5 at one point, or I think I had this at number 5 at one point instead of number 8. But anyway, yeah. I think this is where I'm settling those, number 8 for me.
Number 8 for me, Top Players Golf. This is a Neo Geo title, and here is a track from a game that I was not familiar with. I had forgotten that we had even played this. You had played it, so then I looked into it and I found Nicaragua Main Theme 2. This is from composer Kikuko Hataya. Ladies and gentlemen, Top Players Golf. That's nice.
Nicaragua.
This is some proctologist waiting room music, no?
Yeah, well, this is definitely it's an elevator track for definitely,
Brent?
Yeah.
Dr. Castro will see you too now.
Dr.
What do you do if he says that?
Welcome.
He says, we'll see you too.
Just bend over on the table there.
We'll see you too?
We'll see you too, bro. He'll see you too right now.
Brent, Rob, Dr. Castro will see you too now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Welcome.
I thought that's what you meant. Oh, what did you mean by
welcome,
that?
both of you.
No, I'm just saying, what do you do if the
Thanks
Is
for
your attendant,
thanks for
the
signing.
receptionist says,
Thanks for signing up for my 2 for special.
Is your microphone correct?
Oh, I said, what do you do if the receptionist says, we will see the doctor will see the two of you right now? To you.
Oh, you mean, is he talking about your butt and you, or the two cheeks?
That's what I'm saying. That's the question. That's the question.
Or is it the two cheeks? You know that movie, The Two Jakes? You know, the sequel to Chinatown?
No.
I don't know it.
You know the movie Chinatown, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's a sequel to it. It's called The Two Jakes. I'm thinking The Two Cheeks.
Welcome to...
By the way, when you said Dr. Castro, my first thought was... Because, you know, we both spent time in San Francisco. You're from San Francisco.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the Castro district. And and then just immediately I realized, Gabe Castro.
That's my family street.
Gabe Castro. Dr. Gabe Castro. Dr. Gabe Castro.
Okay, time for number 7. Okay. Number 7, well, speaking of two cheeks, the two cheeks, and speaking of proctology, my next track is going to be from the Famicom game Moon Crystal. So there's really a theme here on this episode, isn't there?
I honestly couldn't remember. I almost asked you if that was legal or not, because I thought we had played the game more like earlier than it was played on the podcast.
I got this game at the end of November, remember? Anyway, even if you got it in October or whatever, roughly a year, it's legal, you know?
Right.
But anyway, I certainly didn't discover this track until, I want to say, probably December of, last year. But the music is by Tsukasa Tawada, and this is, like I said, a Famicom game. The track I picked for number 7 is Stage 2, Waylaid Street. And yeah, here it is, number 7 on the countdown. Moon Crystal. And unless you were pretty familiar with the soundtrack before, Gabe, I'm pretty sure you hadn't played this game until this year, too. Or you hadn't heard this track
I guess
heard any of these tracks until this year, unless you were... But...
that second part, I think I mentioned before, kind of reminds me of Street Fighter 2010, the final fight.
Oh, yeah, I could hear that, yeah. Once again, the composer is Tsukasa Tawada, and this is Stage 2, Waylaid Street. This is kind of sounds kind of like it's kind of classical in a cool 20th century kind of way, and it kind of reminds me of music score from the 1940s, maybe. It kind of sort of there's something special about this track. And it's dynamic, I feel, especially because it kind of retardondos at the end. Or I don't know if that's the right word, but it slows down at the end. That's right. You know, and there's dynamics to it. You know, this part, listen. You know, that's kind of cool. That's sophisticated. You know, something about this track is cool, and there's a lot of cool dynamic. What I mean by it's dynamic is it's in the bass. The bass is doing some cool classical stuff, you know. So it's going dun 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 dun. You know, it's doing stuff like that.
I like the pacing of it. I like that little breath and then starts over. Street Fighter right here.
I love how that bass goes up like that and does that stuff. I love what the bass is doing in this, and if you listen to the episode that this was played on, we isolated that because it does really neat things. So I won't do it here, but that's really cool. Just listen to that bass one last time, the triangle wave. Listen to the triangle wave. And the way that it ends with just the bass only, and it's this high register bass doing its thing, it's just cool. That's just a really cool track. And because of it has that sound, and it has that sort of, in a way, score from the 40s kind of sound to me, in a way, that's what kind of, that's why it was higher than the other tracks that you've heard so far for me. So.
Okay. Number 7 for me will be Chojiko Yusai Macross. Scrambled Valkyrie.
Yeah.
How do you like your eggs in the morning?
Sure. I was going to almost make that joke. How do you like your Valkyrie in the morning?
Scrambled.
Do you like your Valkyrie over easy? Do you like your Valkyrie poached? You like it scrambled.
And this is Water Factory, Dirty Rave. Oh, interesting. That's what we were talking about earlier, Brent, before we got on the air. You were talking about the little Dirty Rave action. This is a Super Famicom title.
I was?
Well, I was asking if it was Solid Snake or Water. I like that. This is a dirty.
Well, I got it now.
I like that. I'm going to say that the next time someone asks me.
Where's the Snake's Revenge?
If you go into the bathroom, I'm going to say yes. A little Dirty Rave action about to happen. Super Famicom, 1993.
Thank you.
Shojiku Yusai Macross. Scramble Valkyrie.
This is a cool game, and I love that part at the end with the bongos.
Mm-hmm.
The bongo section is really good. I like that part a lot. And
Oh yeah.
this is a really good shoot 'em up game.
I like that one
This right here
lead
is-
in. That
is-
sounds Mortal Kombat.
Or True Romance. True Romance style right there.
That part, I like that last Bible kind of lead in.
Mm. You guys are getting the stereo effect?
Yeah.
Because there's some cool stereo stuff going on. Here comes the bongo section, which I really like here. Sounds cool, huh?
I like how it's slowly panning.
Yeah, exactly. There's the stereo effect there, and then the panning. This part's really good too. That's good.
I like that the bongos have like reverb on them.
Yeah, the bongos are cool, man. That's one of my favorite parts of this track is the bongos.
It's
weird, the high bongo kind of sounds like an 808 cowbell.
Mm.
What do you do if, when you walk into your proctologist examination room, you see someone walk out and he doesn't look happy? He's kind of groaning. He's going, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you see your proctologist, and the proctologist says, "Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. nice to meet you."
They're sticking out their hand right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd want to shake your hand.
Well,
Wanna shake your
I'd give it a good whiff first, and if it's depending on how it smelled, it would dictate how hard I shook the hand.
Hey, nice to meet you. What if you're in the street and then that guy you meet someone and he says, "Yeah, I really like Super Nintendo. It's pretty cool. It's rad and it's awesome." And you say, "Oh yeah, I got this podcast. And he says, "Oh, I can't wait." And then you guys are talking, and you say, "What do you do?" And he says, "Oh, I'm a proctologist." And you say, "Oh, okay." And then when you're getting ready to leave, he says, "Anyway, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you."
Well, once again, I'd smell it, first, and then decide how hard to shake it.
Even if it's your own.
So is someone just gonna hold their hand out and shake it in front of your face?
Yeah. Hey.
Does anybody ever do that?
Sometimes. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
It's kind of weird. It looks like they're trying to pet you. It doesn't look like they're trying to shake your hand. It looks like they're trying to pet your cheek. Hey, nice to meet you. They just pet your cheek.
Right.
Number six on the licks, which is slang for list, is for me Ganbare Goman 2 for the Famicom. This is music by Michiru Yamane, credited as Tozan Yamane, and Koichi Murata. And we're going to hear Mechanical Puppet Boss. This is one of the boss themes that you hear in the game. And, well, I'll talk more about it when we come back, but this is my number 6, Ganbare Goman 2. Ganbare Goemon 2, music by Michiru Yamane and Koji Murata. This is Mechanical Puppet Boss. Number 6 on my list. And this track is so 80s to me. I mean, this is more 80s than the Monster World 4 track. It's just so... It reminds me of Alf or something like that, you know? I don't know. It reminds me of... It's just so 80s in an Alf kind of way. I'm talking the TV show Alf, okay? If it didn't have that 80s feeling for me, it might have been lower on my list. But it has this special 80s feeling for me that I really respond to. I'm just liking this 80s feeling, you know?
You love the
this
80s.
part right here. This part right here. You know? Something about that is so Alf 80s to me for some reason. It doesn't sound like the Alf theme song, which is a great theme song, by the way. But for some reason, something about this just has this certain kind of 80s sound to it that I like. And it's you really hear it in the bass line, you know? This part here. Yeah. I don't know, something about it. I like it. It really gets me. I like it. It gets me. It gets me. It understands me, you know? So that's it, yeah. Were you trying to say something, actually? Or somebody was trying to say something? No. No, nothing. Nobody was, okay. Like I said, if it didn't have that 80s sound to me, then it wouldn't have been as high on the list. But just that 80s-ness, it just got to me. And so I had to get to it. Put it in number 6.
Number 6 for me will be Lagoon.
Legume. What if the game was called Legume instead? Legume. You know, instead Legume.
Oh yeah, Lagoon.
That'd be kind of something different. Huh? It's all, you know, it's a peanut themed kind of game. Yeah.
This is a SNES title from '91, Kepco Zoom. This track is Premonition. Premonition, And that's Lagoon. Composers Naizo Uramote, Hideki Suzuki, Akihito Okawa, Hideyuki Shimono, and Naoyuki Kimura. I like that.
I like this one. Except for that really late bass note. Right here.
Dun 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 dun.
Sounds so sloppy.
The what? It's
Mm.
oh, it's
Like
not
the low
sloppy.
note is like late.
Oh, you think so?
It's like dun, dun.
Fortunately, Rob is frozen right now. But you know,
He's in trance.
we're trying to do our thing. Yeah, he's in a trance. Maybe he's having a premonition right now. It's kind of making him
Sure.
frozen in time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that had that dun 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 dun
Mm-hmm.
kind of sound, you know.
Depeche Mode
And this
bells.
is the what? Yeah.
Depeche Mode bells. Fly on the windscreen.
Um. Here we go. Rob's coming back in the meeting here.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So, do you? I mean, should we? We said stuff. I know you missed it because you're frozen or whatever. But did you have anything to add or?
Look, the track speaks for itself. I rest my case.
Okay. Dun 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 dun.
No, it's dun dun dun. Sorry, dun 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 dun. I don't know, something like
Oh,
that.
really? Is it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Now we're down to number 5, and Gabe is going to kind of get into the mix at this point.
Mix.
But we'll go. I guess we'll just go. Me, Rob, and then Gabe. So number 5 for me is from Armadillo, or as I like to say, Armadillo.
Armadillo.
And this is, a track from Armadillo was played in the first year of this podcast. Rob played a track from Armadillo, but I didn't hear the soundtrack until playing the game, which I did recently, or in the last year. So this is the ending track, and the composer is credited as S. Big Land, who might be somebody named Shunichi Ushima. This is a Famicom game, and this is the ending track from Armadillo as my number 5. Music from Armadillo from S. Big Land. Ending. This is my number 5.
It's good.
And yeah, it's good. It's a good track. This was my number 4 for a long time, but it ended up becoming number 5. And this sounds like classic video game music with a blend of jazziness too, a little bit. But this is a great example of the genre of video game music, I feel like, you know, especially the first section of it. That's the blend of jazziness right there. But listen to this. Classic video game music. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no... That doesn't sound like a genre of music except for the genre of video game music, I feel like, you know?
It doesn't sound like this, but it kind of reminds me of that one finishing track from Everhood.
You mean one of the ending tracks?
No.
I mean one of
like
the last...
the race.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the vibe of the opening.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe it's just me.
Oh, yeah.
The one that uses the
You mean the victory
T-square.
track?
Victory. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. And so it's a little bit kind of proggy, kind of
A little bit.
jazz fusion-y sort of, you're
yeah.
saying. Yeah, I see. Really good. Good catchy melody. Yeah.
Up next, I have Umihara Kawase.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a Super Famicom title. Taki theme. Let's go. Taki theme from Umihara Kawase, from composer Masahito Nakano, Atsuhiro Motoyama, and Shinji Tachikawa. That's a nice one.
Very nice.
It's got a little sitcom vibe to it. Yeah.
Nice and bouncy.
Like that ending part.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This part right here.
Da-da-da.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know if you forgot the signal, but I'm assuming.
I'm just trying to get close. You know, I just want to see how close I could get. Physically close. Oh, that's it. No, that's the signal.
I was about to just take the liberty because I wasn't sure because you weren't saying anything, but so I just. Okay.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
Should I say my runner-ups now, or you save that for last, right?
Yeah, save that for before you say your number one, I think, yeah.
This one's going to come from... My number 5 is going to come from Vanishing Racer. Stage 1, San Francisco, for the Game Boy.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Vanishing Racer, Stage 1, San Francisco, Game Boy, Yasuyuki Suzuki. Number 5.
It's definitely a really good track.
Yeah. I love the second part. The melodies are just... Yeah. It's got a lot of emotion in that little melody.
Yeah, it's interesting. I said this when this track was played on previously, that something about it, even though it's a Game Boy track, it reminded me of. It sounded like it was the same composer of this game on Super Famicom, the game Gakuen game or whatever it's called. But that's what it's called. Anyway, and it turned out it was the same composer.
Oh, right.
It's just, yeah.
But, there you have it. That's my number 5.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Kingyo Chuiho Tobadase Game Gakuen. That's what it's called. It's a good track. Very good track. Very good track. Yeah, it's really good. Really good. I like that. Even that beginning part a lot too. Just
yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Okay, number 4 is going to be. Number 4 is Shonen Ashibe Gomachan no Yuenchi Daiboken, and the composer on this has the alias Ebiten, and this is a Super Famicom game, and the track is called Forests and Rivers. And that's my number 4. Shonen Ashibe Gomachan no Yuenchi Daiboken. Music by Ebiten. This is Forests and Rivers, and it's my number 4 track. And it almost sounds kind of baseball. You know, doesn't it sound kind of baseball-y in a way?
It certainly does, yeah.
Oh, you think certainly it does?
Certainly.
Yeah. The beginning especially, you know? You know what I mean? This is a baseball track, but it's not a baseball game.
It's got that curveball sound.
Yeah. But I really like what this track expresses melodically. And it's just really sing-alongable to me. And maybe if it wasn't, it would have been lower on the list. I mean, this used to be number 8 on the list. Or, yeah, something like that, 7 or 8 on the list. But I just kind of started to think, I really, really like the melody of this. And, you know, it just made me think, this really gets in my head, and I just really like it. I just, you know, I'm going to sing along to it right now because it has that ability on me, you know. So it's a dun, 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 dun. And I like how it goes dun dun, you know. Dun, 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 dun. I like that a lot. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And this part's really good too. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I like this. This is expressive. Dun, 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 dun. The melody is, you know. Dun, 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 dun. That is good. You know what I like about it too, is it builds on this motif, you know, or you know, it builds on this sort of, or whatever, you know. Maybe it's it's some kind of motif, you know. I don't know if I would call it a leitmotif, but it just, I like that there's a theme and then it develops that theme throughout, you know, and it's good. I like it. It really has, there's something about it that melodically I really like, you know, even though maybe the sound instrumentally, it's maybe not as, you know, maybe not as sharp as maybe some of the other stuff. For example, like Monster World 4, for example, but that melody really gets this track going for me, and that's why it's my number 4.
Uh-huh.
Dun, 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 dun. It's good.
Whatever could my number 4 be? It's a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
A tarot mystery, to be
Oh,
exact.
I see.
What is your birthday?
Right.
Super Famicom.
Okay.
What is your birthday? Tarot Mystery. That is from composer Yasuaki Fujita. Super Famicom.
I could have guessed this was going to be in her top 10 list. Yeah.
No, you could have guessed it.
Me too.
I could have guessed it if I thought about it, because this is I knew that you responded to this track when it was played on the show, and I know how you like, especially this.
Oh, that's it right there. It gives me life. It gives me life.
Love that percolating synth.
What do you do if you're getting ready for your proctologist exam and your doctor says, "Let's begin"?
Well,
And he
waving his
does this.
fingers.
and he or she does what? Oh, does some
They do this.
twirls his fingers around or her fingers around?
Or just says,
their
"Well,
finger.
let's get ready to begin."
I would not mind that.
I wouldn't mind it. I think that they were kind of joking around a little bit.
Okay.
I think,
Do
they have
you-
a sense of humor about this. That's cool.
Do you want a humorous proctologist?
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like that.
I have had that. Well, one of them was humorous. He said, I kind of asked him, so what made you get into this? After he had stuck this thing inside of me, and he said some, I don't know.
It was like 30 seconds ago.
He said something. Yeah, he said, "Oh, that's funny." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he said, "Well, you showed up." He said something to the extent of, "Well, it's more." I forgot. He had some legitimate reason, and then he said, "This right here is just a bonus."
I like that.
He said it as a joke,
Maybe.
Right. Okay, Gabe.
Oh, my number 4 is Rainbow from, Waku Waku Ski Wonder Spur for the Super Famicom from Chiyomaru Shikura Kaori Takazo. Waku Waku Ski Wonder Spur Rainbow for the Super Famicom.
A worthy choice.
Love this track. Love the
Yeah,
energy. Love the stereo-ness of it.
I like when the loop kind of sort of starts over. It almost seems to be rushing in a way, and I
Sure.
like that.
Right. I would have thought this would have been on your top 5, but not high up. So I don't think you picked this track.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Listen to how it rushes, kind of. You hear that? Almost that wood sound, that kind of that wood hit thing. It goes a little quicker than maybe it should in a cool way.
I was going to say that Magic Tarot track, or Tarot, is that what it is?
Tarot Mystery.
Tarot Mystery, sorry. Would have been a good proctology song to put on while they're doing it.
Sure.
But this
definitely.
track would be kind of interesting.
Right.
He's like, just 1 second. Gotta
What?
put some, like, he's like, 1 second.
Right,
I gotta
right.
put
I mean,
some
that'd be
music on.
hilarious if he said, "Hey, do you mind if I put some, just some background music on, just to sort of calm the nerves?" And then they put on this.
Yeah. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, it almost sounds like it starts to get quicker after that part, kind of that second part. Okay, now we're down to the top 3 here, okay? Top 3 tracks of the year. Okay, number 3 for me is